Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane. Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. As always, we are going to start with our latest updates, what we're currently working on, what's in progress, what is coming out, in the next week or two, all of those things. We've got a giveaway today for a Vampire Nexus Ultimate Bundle. So this is all the content that's currently available on Vampire Nexus. Very excited about getting into character tools with vampires. So we've been doing a little bit of work there and exciting stuff. So this would be a great way to prep for the incoming character tools for Vampire to get lucky today to win an ultimate bundle there. What is on deck after we finish what we're currently working on? What's next? And then, as always, you can ask questions. This is the end of the month. It doesn't always work out like this, but often on the last stream of the month, I try to, leave as much time for questions or at least stay until they're all answered. So if you have questions, this is a great week to ask those, even if they don't, feel as relevant to what is being discussed here. I'll answer almost anything. So feel free to ask those, and you can do that by typing the word question in chat and then following that with the question itself. And our magical Demibot is collecting all of those, and I'll get to all of them at the end of the stream. Latest updates, let's jump right in. So tonight, I guess that is going to be, let's see, is it tonight or is it tomorrow night? Yeah, no, it's tonight. Tonight at midnight Pacific, we've got our Highhelm and the Stolen Fate finale coming out. And so check those out tonight if you are a night owl or you're in another time zone. But either way, if you're asleep, they will be available for you in the morning if you've pre-ordered, or you can pick those up. I'm a big fan of Highhelm. I love dwarves and dwarven culture. So pretty exciting to get this book out there. Getting very soon, we've got the Hero deck that's going to be coming out, and to remind everyone, that is going to have the short rule book that comes with the Hero deck. It's going to have all the Hero cards in a high resolution, and then also we are going to have a little bit of an interactive Hero deck that is just kind of a fun thing that the team wanted to do in all their free time, which is super late at night and maybe sometimes on a weekend because we've been very, very busy. But the main thing with what we're doing with the Hero deck with that side project is we're big believers around here in the concept of the side project. So if someone's passionate about trying to pull something off on the team, we support that as much as we can. And this is an example of that. And I think there's going to be plenty more where this comes from because through doing this little project, it has created some framework that will be pretty fun for potentially the deck of endless NPCs or a variety of other card related things that happen with all of the games that we support. So we'll see how that develops, but I believe that I should be able to show you something on that possibly even next week. So we'll check in on that. But the Hero deck is also coming soon. And then character tools, we don't have a build going out today. We discovered a couple of little bugs in our latest round of testing with this, but we've had a pretty elusive and impactful issue that's been going on since the start of the beta. All of your testing and feedback has helped us track it down. So I appreciate everybody's participation and the help in that. But some issues with skills and skill training, and the fix for that is something that we're very, very close on and expect a build to go out later this week with that fix included. So looking forward to that. On the Avatar Legends front, I'm very excited about how all of that is shaping up. The builder is in internal testing already. So again, This platform approach that we've taken is allowing us to move with some pretty significant speed on the next couple of games that we're working on. The On the digital sheet side, we're working on hooking up all the engines right now. So lots of great progress there. Again, that one will be something that we can show off before too much longer. And honestly, before too much longer, it's going to be in your hands to be able to use it out there in open beta. 5e Nexus, we're still working on some configuration here. We're working on getting some of our late publisher entries that we kind of signed a little bit later into, and getting their content set up for our early access release there. So continuing to work on that. And then we're pretty close on the Vampire Player's Guide and Lines Drawn in Blood for Hunter, and we expect those to come out hopefully within this next month is the target, and it could be sooner depending on the team's bandwidth and how 5e is going. So those are all the things that are currently on the plate, the things that we are working on that I haven't talked about other places, and this is one of those other places. We've got our Character Tools open beta short-term roadmap for Pathfinder Nexus. We still have performance issues and some of the Firefox in particular issues out there that are bigger items that we're going to be looking on. We're going to start, moving into Homebrew pretty heavy before too much longer. We have our export to PDF, and I won't read the rest of the things that you see on the screen here, but you'll see that we've got our proficiency listings and class DCs that has been added since we started the beta. We have bulk is now being represented in the equipment section. We have been doing some work this week on socializing and establishing a shared vision amongst the teams on how containers are going to work in the equipment section. So nothing has changed on the short-term roadmap. These are still the targets. These are the things that we're working on here as well. And then finally, a little more detail. And again, I won't read everything that you've got on your screen here. And if this is too small for you to read, that's okay. We'll be posting this in our forums a little bit later. And then, of course, later this week when this build goes out, you'll be able to see all of the update notes for the build in our forums. And I'll post those, cross-post those in Discord as well. But this, as I said earlier, these issues with skills have been a little elusive, and so these are some of the examples where we have been, running into some of those inconsistencies. And this fix should be addressing all of the underlying issues here. And once we get this build out, again, the help in the beta is incredibly important to us. It's crucial to us getting to where we need to be with this. And so if you see any other inconsistencies, please let us know. But we are, fingers crossed, going to be addressing most of those, or hopefully all of those issues with skill training here. All right, upcoming Pathfinder Nexus, as I talked about already with the short-term roadmap, that's what we're working on. From a content perspective, Rage of Elements is coming, and Rage of Elements has a whole lot of stuff to it. So you're in for a treat if you're looking forward to Rage of Elements. But this is a big one that we're going to be tackling alongside, of course, the remaster project, the new core content that's coming out for Pathfinder. So those are some big rocks that we have ahead of us once we get the final content for the remaster project. We are still at this point targeting July for the 5e Nexus early access launch. So more news on that very soon here. And then the list of our next character tools, the next games for character tools has not changed, but we're working on Avatar Legends and Vampire. And then we'll be working on Marvel and 5e. We hope to very quickly after that move into Alien and some Free League content for the first time. All right. We have our finale for the first season here of the Claw Firm that is coming tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. This has been a really great show with an incredible cast. I have told the story before, but I love playing with Mark. He's such a he really embodies the fun part of playing together, and just really engaging. But this cast has really answered the call on all fronts. I love the characters. So if you haven't caught up with this one, it is available on our YouTube channel. And 6 2-hour episodes isn't that bad. So if you haven't caught up before the finale tomorrow night, you probably could do so. If you started, today, you could catch up before the finale. But if you haven't, that's going to be available on our YouTube channel as well, that you can take a look at the Claw Firm. And then tonight, so this is tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. This is actually the 50th episode. Time really does fly. So this is the 50th episode of Children of Aire, and really, really excited for everyone to see this. Let you in on a little bit of a secret. This is one that we had to pre-film because of people's schedules. So we played it just a few days ago, and it was a really I ended up telling everyone after we finished that I was really, really tense throughout the episode. There are some times where that transference happens, and you have kind of a physical, bodily reaction to what's going on at the gaming table. And this is one of those times that there were a couple of moments where I realized that I wasn't like breathing regularly, because I was like holding my breath, and I was definitely tensing up. Felt like I needed a massage after the episode. But all that in a very good way, because ton of tension and some really awesome things happening throughout the episode. So we're truly excited for episode 50. Also, there are going to be some chances for you to win some additional giveaway content tonight. So definitely tune in for that celebration of episode 50. And then a quick note on the Aire next month, which would technically be next week, is July the 4th. And so we are not going to be streaming anything that day. So we'll be skipping July for our after show and resume in August. And then also on that note, we will not have a dev update next Tuesday, since it is a holiday here in the US. So no streams next Tuesday, July the 4th. All right. I think we're transitioning to questions. So that is where somebody wins a Vampire Nexus Ultimate Bundle out there. So good luck to everyone. And we will jump into questions. If you have questions, feel free to ask those. I see a few of them coming in here. And if you have others, now is the time. I'll get through these, and then I will go, probably grab some lunch and then get back to work. Artemis Themp, how would you make Bob the Builder in Pathfinder 2E? I mean, that's a really, really hard one. And I actually am fairly familiar with Bob the Builder, believe it or not, because my kids are the right age. So there was certainly some Bob the Builder going on in my house. So yeah, I mean, I guess it has to be an inventor, probably. But then we're having to probably take an archetype, a multi-class archetype. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I almost want to say Bard for some of the. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one, but it would be a nice mental exercise to sit down when I have proper time and try to see how it would work. The thing that I can say is I'm fairly confident that with the robustness of the options in Pathfinder 2E, it would be possible to do and to capture it, pretty well. So I can say that. Calexis 1986, have you heard of Stealing Stories for the Devil by Monty Cook Games? I have heard of it. I'm not familiar with it, but I have heard of it. And if so, what are your views on the zero GM prep gameplay style? And is it something that might make its way toward having a Nexus? I don't know about the Nexus part of that. I believe it makes sense. We've got a pretty full dance card, but I do believe it makes a lot of sense for us to have Monty Cook Games content on Demiplane at some point in the future. But I'm not familiar with this specific product, i.e., I have read about it and heard about it, but I have not read it or engaged with it personally myself. But what I can say is I am a big fan of things that are trying to do zero GM prep gameplay, because I think that again, I love this stuff, and I think that games that require some of that prep are wonderful, and I play them and I love playing them. But I also know that the way that society works in today's world and the hustle and bustle that goes on, sometimes prepping is not something that people actually legitimately have time for when they're spending their time doing other priorities in their lives. And so I love the concept of trying to crack that code of how can you have a game that has zero GM prep. So I'm intrigued by this. I might take a little bit of a closer look, but I think that games that have tried to do that, I think that people who have tried to do that with games that historically have a whole lot of prep is always an interesting exercise too. I can tell you that personally, when I run a game, my prep amounts to 30 minutes or less of glancing at some stuff or coming up with stuff. Most of the time, everything is just improv. Honestly, over I don't know how long I've been playing these games anyway. I guess it's 30 something years at least at this point. Over that time, I have prepared for literally weeks to run a session, and I have also prepared for 10 minutes to run a session. And I'm not saying that all things are considered equal there, but I will say that the fun that was had at the table is not necessarily directly correlated to the amount of time that you spend prepping. And of course, that has to do with the players that you have at the table and everything else. So as always, work out what works with you and your group. But if you're all getting together to play a game or a setting like this, that's being mentioned here by Monty Cook Games, then that alignment of expectation that zero prep is happening and rules that support that, I think that's a very fascinating concept. Milestone 20, are you planning on adding the Cataclysm of Kang for Marvel Nexus? Yes, we are. We are, definitely going to be adding that. I'm not sure if it is up for pre-order or if it should be. But either way, you'll know more about the Cataclysm of Kang on Marvel Nexus, and it certainly will be there. The Molly J, since you mentioned working on containers, will we be able to put containers inside other containers, like putting a pouch inside a backpack or tossing a backpack inside a portable hole? Yes, the idea, we're going to have it work like that. I think that the key is, I can't say for sure because I haven't looked specifically in the last week or two here. I can't say for sure that it will do that immediately, like with the initial pass of that. But there's no question that we will have to support that, and so therefore it will include that ability at least at some point. Panoramic Panda, will you be at Gen Con this year? Yes, we will. We will be at Gen Con with bells on, as the old Southern saying goes. We will be there with bells on. Really looking forward to Gen Con this year. We're going to have, a good bit of team members there. We're going to be participating in some activities with some of our partners. Not quite ready to talk about all that yet, but really looking forward to Gen Con this year. And if you see me around or see us around, then by all means stop and say hello. It'd be great to see and meet all of you. The Molly J, can you tell us when you'll be announcing launch partners for 5e Nexus? Um, I can't tell you when exactly, but per the update earlier, um, you know, we're expecting the early access for that to go live in next month, or well, almost this month. Yeah, just in July, and so you'll know before too much longer on that. We really have been just trying to squeeze in a couple of last minute publishers and trying to launch that with as much content for those publishers as we can. And so it's not like holding off because we don't have anybody on the Nexus or anything like that. It's all just trying to get all those ducks in a row before we go live with that. But you already know, based on previous updates, you're probably going to already know. I think you know 2 out of the 3. There's just one that we haven't announced yet, and that's just because we're trying to get through some approvals and stuff before we do that last announcement. But there will be plenty more on 5e Nexus in the future as well. That's just the starting point. Artemis Thimp, will those who got access to closed Pathfinder 2e Alpha get access to 5e Nexus, or will you have to apply? Actually, what you're going to see with, starting with Avatar Legends, and I can't say this is always going to be the approach, but I don't see a reason at the moment that this would change, is that we likely will not have alphas or anything closed for the future tools. So the games that are coming next, on the list as we get the character builder and digital character sheet ready for these games, it is highly likely, anyway, that we are going to be just going directly into a public beta with those games, because we've, as I've said all along, this has been a platform we're building. Pathfinder just happened to be the most complex and full of depth pilot that we could possibly do for these kind of tools, because there's a lot going on with the Pathfinder game. So we chose it for a variety of reasons, but that was one of the reasons. And so we felt like an alpha was warranted, as we were making sure that we were translating the Pathfinder complexity into these tools, but also as we were getting the platform itself ready for being able to add all these other games that we have started on doing a little bit of now. And so, you probably won't have to apply to anything, but that is because those things are likely coming out just directly, to everyone in the public when those games come out. All right, I've got a few more questions here. If you've got any others, feel free to jump in with those. Will you be watching Team America and Independence Day on July the 4th? Yeah, that's a great question. I do typically watch Independence Day on July 4th. Team America hasn't made it into any kind of tradition or anything. And I wouldn't say Independence Day is a tradition. Honestly, on July 4th, a lot of the time, what I end up doing is I end up doing whatever show I have several episodes, backed up on, or if something comes out that is, streamed content. So it's very possible. I can't remember if Amazon's new Jack Ryan series, I know it comes out like on the 30th. I can't remember if it's going to be, a weekly thing or if it's going to be an all at once drop of that season. But for instance, that's a good example of, if it was an all in one drop, I would probably, spend most of that day with my wife binging and watching, 6-8 episodes of a show is often what ends up happening on July 4th. But I do also end up catching Independence Day most years. The Molly J, when can we expect to see announcements about new Nexuses? Those announcements are definitely going to slow down for a little bit here because we are working on the current Nexuses that we have announced, and getting character tools to where they need to be with these Nexuses. But we do have a few that we have not announced, and I expect that you'll probably know more about those before the end of this year. Is what I would guess anyway. And again, lots of factors go into whether we have shared or haven't shared. That a Nexus is coming, but I'm very excited about some of them that we haven't publicly talked about yet, and I hope you will be too. Artemis Themp, who's your favorite Power Ranger, and did you watch the Netflix Ranger? Power Rangers missed me. I know next to nothing about the Power Rangers. What I have been able to pick up on is hearing it from other passionate fans out there about what they love about it and everything else. And so I really love the idea of Power Rangers, but Power Rangers came out when I was in high school, I think, and so I never I was at least in junior high when I knew about it anyway for the first time. Power Rangers is not something that I ever followed or got into, but I do love seeing fans of any sort out there, and I love seeing passion. And I know that there are many passionate Power Rangers fans, and so that's really exciting for me to see. And so I love the idea of Power Rangers, and I celebrate anything that's happening out there with it. But personally, I know next to nothing. I know that they have colors. I know that they, combine into a Voltron-esque thing, because say Voltron is a little bit more my speed. It would have been out when I was a kid. If you love Power Rangers, that's wonderful. And one day I would love to hear more about it, but that one missed me a little bit. Let's see. Cassius 335. Did you know it's Trevor's birthday? I did not. Happy birthday, Trevor. Happy birthday indeed. I won't sing for you because it's the morning, and I haven't done my vocal warm-ups yet. But happy birthday, Trevor. All right, that is all of the questions. I'm gonna going once, going twice kind of thing here. If you have any other last minute one, you can ask that, because it looks like we've got a minute left. Otherwise, as I said, I'm going to go grab some food and then get back to work on, I think, some Avatar stuff today. So looking forward to today. I'll get my soundtrack blasting of the Sungi horn, and especially the Agni Kai, song that's playing when Zuko and Azula are doing their thing. And Artemis Themp, how excited are you for Season of Ghost? I am not. I'm not currently aware of what that is. Is that a? I'm gonna Google this. Season of Ghosts, is it a Pathfinder Society? Oh, the Pathfinder Society thing, is that what we're calling it? Let's see. Yeah, I don't pay attention to the names of those things a lot of the time. Yeah, Season of Ghosts. Yeah. Oh, it's the new Adventure Path. Interesting. And it's October. I thought that they were pausing those, actually. That's good info for me to have. I thought we were pausing because of core releases and everything, but and it's going to be 4 parts too. So yeah, I don't know how excited I am, because I am not very aware that was coming. We haven't seen that one yet, but when it comes, I'm sure it's going to be pretty exciting. The thing about adventure paths is there are so many of them at this point in time, and every time that one comes out, I think that that's the one that I want to play next. And so I keep just having an internal battle about which one's going to actually be the one that I run for, my home group. So yeah, we'll see if Season of Ghosts is the one that wins out in the end or not. Because then the problem is like we're playing through one, and then everybody wants to switch to the new one. So I have the same problems that all of us have had out there for all these years of playing these games. All the popcorn randomness that comes up with all of it. But yeah, Season of Ghost. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what gave me the impression that they were pausing for a second, but it looks like they are not. So it looks like that one's going to be coming in hot right along the core, remaster stuff. So looking forward to seeing what they put together. All right. That is it for time for today. I appreciate everyone joining me, and we'll have, as I said earlier, a build for Pathfinder Nexus going out a little bit later this week, and we'll post update notes when that comes. Join us tonight for the 50th episode of Children of Aire, and I will not be dev updating next week, but I will see you the week after that. Later, Gators.